Hello and welcome to the first lecture of speaking section in IELTS. In this session, you will learn about the structure of the speaking test. The speaking section is conducted in the form of an interview of 11 to 14 minutes and mainly judges the articulation capability of the student. In other words, the examiner checks whether the applicant can put forth his ideas efficiently or not. The speaking and writing sections expect precision and overall conciseness of words. It is the same for both academic and general training aspirants. In the actual test, an examiner sits across the table and asks a few questions which the candidate must answer. Many students are tensed the moment they hear the word interview. They perceive this interaction like a job interview where they should try their best to impress the interviewer. However, it is worth revising the purpose of the test. It is a test of how well you use your English, and hence you need not try too hard to impress the examiner. For example, imagine that you are working long hours and you don't usually get time to watch TV daily. As a result, you don't like watching TV in general. And now in the test, the examiner asks you, do you like to watch TV? Now, just not to upset the examiner and rather to influence him with your answer, you may say, yes, I do watch TV regularly. The next question could be, so can you name the most popular program on TV in your country? Since you don't watch any program, you may not be able to offer even one example. So rather at the beginning itself, if you admit that you don't get much time to watch TV and hence lately you are not updated on the kinds of TV shows that are aired, you need not face questions about the popular TV programs. Overall, don't approach the speaking test on IELTS as a job interview. Instead, consider that it is just a conversation with another person. In addition to this, you must restrict use of profession-related jargons. Many of the students use words that only the specialists in a particular profession or field may understand. For example, when talking about what work the applicants do, several of them mention their job responsibilities that consist of their industry-related terminology. The examiner may not know what a server is, but chances are he may know what a computer is. So instead of saying servers, say computers. Now the speaking test is divided into three parts. Part 1 consists of a personal interview and general discussion. Part 2 is termed as cue card, while Part 3 has some follow-up questions and questions related to your opinion. Let's look at these parts one by one. Let's begin with the first part. The first part of the speaking test aims to make the candidate comfortable with the environment, and hence most of the questions in this part would be concerned with the student himself or herself. If you look at this part of the speaking test, you will find that it is divided into two subparts. The first subpart is a personal interview in the sense that the interviewer will ask you questions based on your life and past experiences. Second subpart can be considered as an extension of the previous one, as it will consist of questions about your surroundings, your preferences, or your pastimes. In general, both subparts have about 4 questions, and hence part 1 of the speaking test usually have about 8 questions. They sometimes may ask about 8 to 10 questions. Now let's come to the second part. The second part is called as cue card. You will be given a card printed with a situation along with 4 related questions. These 4 questions assist you to elaborate on the situation well and hence act as a cue or a clue. You will be given 1 minute to think on the cue card, and in this 1 minute, you may take notes on blank sheet if you wish. For writing, you will be provided with sheet of paper and pencil in advance. Since you won't be carrying any wristwatch or mobile phone, the examiner will let you know once a minute is over. After 1 minute of preparation, you must speak on the given topic for about 1 to 2 minutes using the 4 questions. Now let's look at part 3. Part 3 is very similar to part 1 in structure but quite different in terms of topics discussed. Like part 1, there are 2 subparts. The first subpart can be called as follow-up and the second subpart can be called as general opinion. Subpart 1 or follow-up has about 3 questions which are closely related to the topic of discussion in part 2. While in subpart 2, the examiner asks your opinion about topics remotely related to cue card. In total, you should expect about 6 questions in part 3. I hope you have grasped the structure of IELTS speaking test. In the next lecture, you will see a sample conversation. We will use this conversation to understand the format of the IELTS speaking section better.